Welcome to Sector 3 of Zandvoort. Here we are with a going through Sector 3, final lap of practice for me. Just touched the curb a little bit, counter steer, and we stop the spin. However, a little bit counter steer sends us in a 1/8 of a spin the other way, but there is technically 70 minutes before this normally goes out, so procrastination is a pain in my butt. Qualifying 1 and the summer break time trial practice came in clutch, as after our first lap we have a 2.457 second gap to Sainz in second place. A clear margin in each sector. I love this circuit. Unfortunately, what the hell am I talking about? Unfortunately, the circuit is horrendous for racing. Overtaken. End of qualifying 1, and Verstappen wanted pole at his home circuit and took second place and had a 1.720 second gap to me in first place. Qualifying 2 and the AI improved slightly, and we had a 1.946 second advantage over Verstappen, much smaller. After the session, he improved 2 tenths, and there was a 1.727 second gap to me in first place. Qualifying 3, and we've got much more pace. I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on with me, but I thought I didn't do qualifying 2 then. Qualifying 3, and we've got much more pace, and we had a 2.693 second gap ahead of Sainz. After the session, Alonso offered to give Alpine a front low lockout and place himself second place, with me in first place, 2.200 seconds ahead of him. Nice. See if we can get a 1-2 in the race, so.
It's time to go racing once again then here at Zandvoort as we get underway at the Dutch Grand Prix. Four lefts and 10 rights make up the 14 corners of the narrow and demanding Zandvoort circuit, with plenty of peaks and valleys over the course of the 2.6-mile lap, which will demand absolute concentration from our drivers here today. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Esteban Ocon lines up on pole position, and it's Fernando Alonso alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Leclerc, George Russell and Sainz, Hamilton, Ricciardo, Zhou and Pierre Gasly, Vettel, Norris, Sergio Perez and Magnussen, Tsunoda, Albon, Valtteri Bottas and Mick Schumacher, Stroll and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? And what would any Grand Prix weekend be without the one and only Natalie Pinkham? Let's talk briefly about Esteban Ocon.
Well, it was a really impressive lap in qualifying to get pole position, but are they going to be able to hold on to the lead into the first corner with so many quick starters around them? So we're in for an exciting start, I'm sure, and then they'll all settle down a bit, try and find a rhythm as they plan the next phase of the Grand Prix. It's important to know when to push and when to hold back so as not to overcook those tyres early on.
Right, a couple of things. One is I thought it was an okay save. It wasn't that exceptional. Mainly because I started spinning in the other way, other direction, counterclockwise instead of clockwise. 2, the reason the Dutch flag appeared during the first bit was because I was checking the video because I actually hadn't started it, so I was just trying to find out the best way to record it. In the end, I decided to go with record what happened for the pre-race and then record the strategy bit. That's why the pause menu shows up at the beginning of the strategy bit. Anyway, talking about said strategy, medium, medium, soft looks good, and only just slower than soft, medium, medium. And if the forecast says it, I think, have a look at the medium hards first. Actually, if the forecast says it, I think yep, rain right at the end. Medium, medium, soft looks quickest. That is quicker than the medium hard, so we're going to avoid that. How about soft hard? Roughly the same length at time as soft, medium, medium. So let's see. What about free stop? 2 softs, 2 mediums. Even slower. Okay. 72 laps of fuel. 71 laps of fuel. And then down a kilo. Yeah, that'll be fine. It was fine in practice, so it'll be fine in the race. Are we going to go anywhere? Setup. It looks good. You can pause it if you want to see what the setup was. Because I don't really care. 98 kilos, 72 laps, 1 soft, 2 mediums, pit lap 17 and 44, maybe some rain at the end of the race as well. Here we are for the Netherlands Grand Prix then. Late rain causes a third pit stop for most. In the case of Stroll, 5. Wait. Should only be 4. No, okay, never mind. His drive strategy was a bit stupid as well. Anyway, let's just get into it. So, lap 1 started first, obviously, with Fernando Alonso alongside me. Fernando getting a bit of a poor start, which helped my poor start. But to be honest, it wasn't even that poor. It's just Alonso decided to go a little bit slow on the start. It allowed Verstappen to overtake him by the end of sector 1 on the inside of the carousel. I think it's the carousel, I think Tarzan's turn 1. But either way, we were first and leading Max Verstappen, the homeboy, around his home circuit. Nothing else lap 1, so we can just skip it. Lap 12, Peugeot Grand New. There you are. Heading into turn 1, puff smoke, pulling over to the middle of the circuit, and at turn 2, he will pull over to retire from the Grand Prix. I'll have to check where he is in the championship. I don't think he's had the best of luck this season. And yeah, very unfortunate from him to retire from the Grand Prix. Next up, lap 17. Like France, I'll be looking back at the slow laps after all of it. No, not France. France. Why am I talking about France? Like Belgium, I'll be looking back at all the slow laps. Just because I did France script yesterday. Very late. I was a bit busy yesterday. Hello, come on, cat. I know I did. I know. Yeah, never mind. Corner cuts later in the race. So here we are on lap 17 for our first of 2 scheduled pit stops. As you can see in the timing ladder, there's already some people pitting. I wish it told you who's in the pit like in real life. But hey ho. So lap 17 we come off our softs onto another set of mediums to do the 2 stop. Coming into the pit lane, a little bit hot, and that has earned us a penalty as the McLaren. I'm so confused. Why were we looking at the McLaren and AlphaTauri pit boxes? Anyway, entry. We sped a slight bit, and turn-in was purple, and the release was a little bit poor, but it was fine. It was fine, and we're back into the lead. We're back into the race on the new set of mediums. And then lap 40. There you are, Pierre. Wait, what? Had I already lap? I'm so confused. What? Sorry, lap 40. Oh, I've already lapped these guys, that's why. Oh, where was this? This was... What happened here? Oh, warning for collision, that's why. And so, yeah, Pierre Gasly into the pit lane, he went. He's going from his second pit stop. That doesn't grammatically make sense. He's coming from his first set of mediums onto his second set. Out into the race in P18. And there's Stroll. And yeah, Pierre Gasly just goes a little bit wide in turn 2. Stroll tries to go underneath and do the switchback, but Gasly. Does Gasly turn in? I don't think he turns in. I think he just. Let's see. So Stroll goes to the inside. It's a very late dive. Yeah, Stroll's. Pierre Gasly's fine here. I don't know why he's been given the warning for a collision. Yeah, Pierre Gasly has to move out the way. Okay. So, lap 44 then. And this is when I have a track limit warning. I should say track limit instead of track extension, because it's not always track extension. Sometimes it's the corner cut. No, what? I'm so confused. Where's my track limit? Bear with me 1 second. Yeah, lap 44 exceeded track limits. This is lap 44. Surely it's not me going into the pit lane. Anyway, lap 44 is the lap we came in for our second pit stop of this race. Going from the mediums to another set of fresh mediums to finish off the race, 28 laps. Yeah, obviously the interval gap broken because I've lapped Verstappen by this point. Into the lane we go, braking nice and early, no penalty this time. Serving the penalty, of course, and purple turn-in. What about the release? Quite good. Almost running over an AlphaTauri mechanic. And out the pit lane we come. There's Max. So we did have to lap him again, but the only reason we lapped him the first time was because he pit. So Yeah. And then, as you'll see on the highlights later, because I'm not going to show it, Verstappen lapped Stroll here, I then lapped Stroll, and then I lapped Verstappen. I think I found it. No, I thought it'd be for cutting this bit, but no, it's not enough to cut. Anyway. What? Well, okay. I'm on the right lap. Yeah, so at this point I've lapped Leclerc. And Ferrari's decided to end his podium. Hand Alonso, my teammate, back a podium position. I think Alonso just a little bit slower than the guys around him and got lucky in qualifying, so was able to hold him off for a bit, but then George and Leclerc got him, but obviously he gets Leclerc back when Leclerc retires lap 54, pulling over to the side of the circuit at turn 1. And this is everything from the race director. So I'm just going to have a quick look at Alonso's race. So yeah, he gets overtaken by he gets jumped in the pit lane. He has to hold for George. Okay, fair enough. And then obviously he'll get... This means he gets jumped by Leclerc when Leclerc pit. Where are you? There you are. Okay. And then he just slowly dropped off. Obviously his second pit stop got jumped by Perez this time. Who holds him up this... Oh. Sorry, Jimmy. Your father's been killed. Oh, sorry, Sam. Your uncle's butt has just been passed through by... What does that actually look like? Hold up. He's turning left, but his steering wheel is right. Okay. And then he just drives through this guy. Hey, his inside's there. He's invisible from the inside. Anyway, why does he get jumped? Oh. Perez was just quicker. So then he overtakes him. Yeah, okay. And then we head to lap 63. Where sector 2, you should be able to see it at some point. That's not sector 2. This is sector 2. At this point in the race, we've comfortably got a lap ahead of Verstappen. So technically, like Canada, if we wanted to pit, we could. Have I lapped Verstappen at this point? Yeah, I have, because there's Lando. And there you can see slightly some raindrops. During sector 2 I got a massive raindrop on my visor, so I was wondering if the camera would pick up anything like that off-board. Yeah, you can see it slightly all over the place. So, began. Right, who's in DRS range? So, Vettel. Oh. I thought it got disabled on laps. Okay. Yep, able to use DRS. And then come onto the main straight. Disabled. Not able to use it. Likewise, Bottas, able to use it. Slam shut, and then, yeah. I got told during lap 66, so. But, the rain got heavy enough. And, lap 68, we had my only mistake in this race. Very weird that this race and Imola very similar. Well, Imola, the only reason Imola is different is because I needed I was getting redemption from last season. This race, no redemption needed. However, that didn't stop me going wide at turn 12. I tried not to get myself a penalty, so that resulted in me conceding a position to Norris. This was kind of hampered by Mark asking if I wanted to pit. Literally, as I was going wide, he said, there's a change of strategy. So I came into the lane. Into the lane, not in a lane. Yeah, that was me trying to make sure that I had the intermediate tyres. Purple turning, no speeding, good release, and we came out into the race on the intermediate tyres in the wet. So yeah, there's Ricardo. Ricardo was actually the first driver to pit, so he's been on the Inters 2 laps at this point, I think. Yeah, obviously, when Ricardo pit, we had just missed the pit lane. So, how long has this been going? 16 minutes. We got time. So he came into the pits on his lap 65 as I had crossed the line. There's Verstappen, there's George, there's Alonso, there's Sainz, Lando, and then Ricardo. So Ricardo comes in. Pierre behind him comes in. Perez, Vettel, Schumacher, Lewis, Kevin. Lewis has had a terrible race. Albon. I think he got damage. Albon comes in. Bottas comes in. Latifi. Actually, no. Next up is Verstappen. Then we come on to Latifi. Latifi comes in. Stroll comes in. Russell comes in. Sonoda comes in. At this point, I've gone off. Alonso ahead of me. I've now just been told that Alonso's coming into the lane, so I'm like, yep, I'm coming into the lane. Sainz comes in, Norris comes in, and then finally, little old me into the lane I go. But if you notice, Stroll's come into the pits and they've put mediums on. So Yep, that doomed him to another pit stop. Lap 67 for him on the entails, and I lapped him 3 times. Here, Sonoda, Latifi, Bottas, Albon, Magnussen, Hamilton, Schumacher, Vettel, Perez, Gasly, Ricciardo, and Norris all lapped 2 times. Sainz, Alonso, Russell, Verstappen lapped once. No, Norris lapped once as well. No, twice. Yeah, Norris was twice. So yeah. A lot of laps in the first stint were actually slower than target, but I'm not going to look at all of them because I know that I was just slow. Lap 56 I think was the yellow flags, and then from 63 onwards the rain hit and we were only just able to get the fastest lap on lap 64. So yeah, there's no point going to check lap 3, lap 6, lap 9, lap 11, lap 13, lap 14 and lap 16 because I know that I just went slow. I haven't even showed the final lap yet. Right, who's furthest away from the lap? Hey, there we go. Yeah, worked a little bit. So here we are on the final lap then, having pit 3 times, using 3 compound tyre, and going off into a gravel trap. I wish the gravel traps actually trapped you in the game. I have not once got trapped. But it don't matter, as we come across the line to win the Grand Prix. And I can ensure that I win the I can win the championship in Singapore next time out in Italy by outscoring Max by 5 points. And then all I have to do is, well, if I outscore Max by 5 points, all I have to do is make sure Max does not beat me in Singapore. So how many points I beat Max by? -5 in Italy. So if I win and he's second and I have fastest lap, that'd be 3. Max must beat me by more than 3 points in Singapore to keep it alive. But that won't matter because Japan, he'll have to outscore me by a race victory for the rest of the season. So yeah, that's going to be it though. 22 minutes, that's not bad. It's only 10 past 9. Not lost too much time doing this. So yeah, I'll pass you over to future me. Yay. The race was done on the 26th of February, and the script is 12 days later. 12 days later. Later cannot be plural. On the 10th of March. As you will notice, I am voicing on the 11th of March. And this is supposed to be going out 11th of March, but it might be going out 12th of March. Depends what I think, and if I procrastinate a little bit more after this. I do not know what I was thinking, but writing this, I thought it was the first one in March. Nope, that was the Belgium Grand Prix 5 days ago, which is now actually 6 days ago. On the 5th of February, when I should have been doing Singapore, had I not been ill. Anyway, this one is late because, like I said, or tried to say not very clearly, in Belgium, my week has been very busy and I have not had much time, and in the time I did have, I just procrastinated So here I am, Friday night, getting ever closer to midnight. I need to leave for Italy tomorrow, which is earlier today actually. So there might be script errors. The grid slot was a purple, not as good as Belgium, as this time I had the front wheel in line with the front of the yellow line. I missed out the word line. Since it had been 12 days since the race, I do not remember the tyre temperatures, but with the non-failure of the tyre pressures in Belgium, I do not know what a success would be. I did the same here in Zandvoort, so I can assume the tyre temperatures were good. The start was good, and into turn, I missed out one, we were not troubled at all. But Alonso in the other Alpine was not so lucky and he dropped to third place behind Max. Lap 12 was next with Zhou Guanyu, simply a retirement. The smoke first appeared on the main straight, and down towards turn 1 he started pulling over and came to a stop at turn 3 on the left hand side. Lap 17 next, pit stop time. Soft to mediums for the first of 2 stops, before a third stop for intermediates. Because you already know what happened in the race. Unfortunately, a speeding penalty was applied, but I made up for it with a purple turn-in and a quick release from the box, even though the camera didn't show it on my highlights. Lap 40, and Pierre Gasly is the focus of attention. Centre of focus. I forgot the phrase that's normally said. Collision warning with Stroll at turn 3. Officially, I think it is turn 2 though. Left kink is not actually a corner. It's more of a corner than Austria turn 2 though. Anyway, I digress. Gasly just came out the pits and migrated left across the circuit and ended up in the middle of the track for turn 3. Stroll was close behind, and instead of being normal and staying left, he darted right and dived Pierre. Locked up and drifted wide into Pierre. But wait, I said Pierre got the warning. Yes, he did. This was because when they hit Pierre, it was Pierre who was driving into Lance, not the other way around. Definitely Stroll's fault though. Lap 44, and we have my apparently only track limit. Where? I have no clue. I've lost it. Where are we? I'm having to get up the bigger script because this script isn't long enough. Yeah, shut up. Right. Right, that one's loading. Where are we? Oh. But it was also my second pit stop of the race. So I think the extension or corner cut was the pit entry because I left the circuit before the game registers the pit entry. I was across the white line completely very early. I pretty much followed right on top the pit lane's white line on the right hand side. Either way, a lock-up made sure we would not speed into the pit lane this time. A purple turn-in, served a penalty, and a quick release put me a couple seconds behind lapping Max. On circuit, about the rest of the lap. It took me till turn 13 to lap Max. And Stroll. For technically the first and second time, but I lapped Max earlier, but he pit, and so he was offset a pit stop. That's why I lapped him. I didn't lap him before he came into the pits. He came into the pits as I was about to lap him. How rude. Lap 54, and another power unit gave out on the main straight. This time Charles' smoke began at the banking, and into turn 1 he pulled over to the left hand side of the circuit. Just yellow flags like so. Alonso update. First pit stop, he got jumped by George in the lane, and Charles got him with an overcut, putting him 5th. The gap to Russell just increased after that, and in the second stop, he ran over 4 McLaren mechanics and an AlphaTauri mechanic, getting a good look at his butt. Charles, Why did I find out? I'm immature. I'm 16 and I'm still immature. Charles gave him fourth on lap 54. Lap 63, and I saw the first drops of rain in sector 1, I think, or sector 2. DRS got disabled on my lap 65 just before that, beginning the main straight, I think, actually. The AI's lap 64 and 63. Then on my lap 68, I had a choice, and a quite easy one at that, because of a mistake. Heading into turn 11 and turn 12, Mark had a strategy change to intermediates. I took it after I locked up, aquaplaned, and ran through the gravel and corner cut turn 12, and allowed Lando, who I had lapped twice, back through to avoid a 10-second penalty for blatant corner cutting. I accepted Mark's choice, but I did not have the time to accept the strategy using the MFD, as I was recovering to the circuit from the gravel trap. So just before the pit lane speed limit, I was making sure I was pitting to intermediates and not never serve dries. That's why I almost come to a complete standstill in the pit lane, in the highlights. So of course, no speeding penalty, a purple turn-in and a quick release. Now, this is the first time I think I have ever seen this, but the entire grid, starting with Ricciardo in 7th, filed into the pits the first opportunity each driver had. If you look at the ladder, you know that means the last drivers in were me and Lando. Very quickly, I'm just going to run through it. It was P7 to P15, Ricciardo, Gasly, Perez, Vettel, Schumacher, Hamilton having a bad race, Magnussen, Albon and Bottas on their lap 65. Next was P2, Verstappen on his lap 66, followed by P16 and 17, Latifi and Stroll on their lap 65, P3, Russell on his lap 68, followed by Tsunoda in P18 on his lap 65. As those last two entered the pit lane, I was in the gravel trap at turn 12. P4 to P6 were next, Alonso, Sainz and Norris on their lap 66. And last but not least, P1, Ocon, Winter, me, on my lap 68. However, I was not the last onto intermediates, because in Stroll's pit stop, Aston Martin put him onto mediums again. Then he had to pit again, this time onto the intermediates. His lap 66, put him last and 3 laps down. Lastly, I came on to lap 72 to win the Grand Prix with a single hiccup, that mistake on lap 68. I will not count the speeding, but will not ignore it. This makes it a near copycat of Imola, minus a need for redemption, and this time the mediums and the intermediate conditions, and Mark offering a strategy caused the mistake that gave me the trip to the gravel trap, instead of slightly misjudgment and breaking on the grass and curb. Lastly, I literally just said lastly when I came onto lap 72 to win. Anyway, slow laps report, lap 3, 6, 9, 11, 13, 14 and 16 in the first stint. I was just slow because I was too quick on lap 2 and the target meant I had to push the tyres more than I wanted, and often my level of push resulted in the slow laps. Technically it would be a level of minus push, but hey. That would not mean a pull. I've put lastly again. Lap 56, single lap in the third stint in a dry, so it was just a slow lap. Not a target that needed me to push harder than I wanted. The target was good. So, is the championship lead. 125 points. Not quite the 143 point gap I said I could have in Belgium. Max, why you have to have a second place in your home race? How dare you? After Italy, I need a 156 point gap. So unfortunately, I would miss out by 5 points. So the earliest now is Singapore. Again, the permutations depend on Italy, but like I said in Belgium, as long as I finish Singapore and get points, even less points than Max, I could win the championship in the 101st episode of Project Ultimate F1 AI. Quick checkup. After Italy, I would miss out by 3 points, not 5. Because technically the minimum I can gain in Italy is 8 points if I win with fastest lap and max in P2. So 8-point gain that would put me 133 points, and after Singapore I would need 143. No, what? I'm so confused now. 125 points. If Max retires... Yeah, never mind. Ignore me. I'm talking about if Max finishes the race in P2. That I'll leave for Italy on, well, your Tuesday, my tomorrow. Goodbye. I'm rambling for no reason at all. Goodbye.